Welcome to the world of horror and the unknown. If you like scary stories and heart-pounding suspense, this is your haven. Click subscribe and activate the bell to stay on the edge of your seat with every fear. Give us a thumbs up to show your courage and help us reveal more horror. Welcome to Creepy Nights, where fear finds its home. Last breath. At Ravenhurst, in the quiet town of Blackwood, nestled deep within the dense woods, there stood a long abandoned asylum, known as the Ravenhurst Mental Institute. Legends whispered of the darkness that lingered within its walls, a darkness so profound that it had taken the lives of countless souls. Emily Sinclair, a high school senior, and her classmates were preparing for an educational field trip to Ravenhurst. Their history teacher, Mr. Thompson, had organized the visit to delve into the macabre history of the asylum and its patients. The day of the trip arrived, shrouded in an eerie mist that seemed to foreshadow the events to come. As the students boarded the old school bus, the excitement of the trip was palpable, mingled with a sense of trepidation. The worn tires of the bus squealed against the asphalt as they pulled away from the school, leaving behind the safety and familiarity of their everyday lives. The bus journey was uneventful, the students chatting and laughing, trying to keep their nerves at bay. Emily sat by the window, gazing out into the thick woods that seemed to swallow the road whole. She felt an inexplicable unease, but attributed it to the atmosphere and the impending visit to the asylum. After what seemed like hours, the bus came to a halt in front of the looming structure of Ravenhurst Mental Institute. The asylum stood like a monolith, a monument to the horrors of the past. Its decrepit windows seemed to peer into the souls of those who dared to enter. As the students disembarked, Mr. Thompson led them inside. The air was dank and filled with the smell of decay. The corridors were dimly lit, casting eerie shadows that danced and flickered across the walls. In a large hall, Mr. Thompson began recounting the history of the asylum, the tales of patients who had suffered unimaginable torment, and the inexplicable disappearances of both staff and patients alike. The atmosphere grew heavier as the stories unfolded, and anxiety crept through the group. They ventured deeper into the asylum, exploring the twisted remnants of rooms and hallways. Emily, feeling a sense of dread, stayed close to her friends, Sarah and Daniel. Suddenly, a piercing scream echoed through the air. The group froze, fear gripping their hearts. One by one, they realized some of their classmates were missing. Panic set in as they tried to account for everyone. Mr. Thompson quickly organized a head count, discovering that 5 students were missing, including Emily's friends. Frantic, they split into groups to search for the missing students. Emily, Sarah, and Daniel formed their own group, determined to find their friends. As they ventured deeper into the asylum, the sense of foreboding grew. In the darkness, they stumbled upon a gruesome sight: lifeless bodies of their missing friends, each one positioned in a grotesque and horrifying manner. Shock and terror gripped them, and realization dawned that they were not alone. Someone, or something, was in the asylum with them, a malevolent presence stalking their every move. Panic surged, and they began to flee in terror. Emily, her heart pounding, led her friends through the twisted maze of corridors, desperately searching for an escape. They found themselves in the asylum's basement, a labyrinth of dark and dank hallways. The air grew colder, and a pervasive feeling of dread filled the atmosphere. They heard footsteps approaching, slow and deliberate. With no other options, they huddled in a corner, hoping to remain hidden. Through the darkness emerged a figure in a tattered, blood-soaked uniform, the bus driver. He bore a twisted grin, his eyes vacant and void of humanity. He was the embodiment of their worst fears. The bus driver raised a gleaming knife, and the trio realized their only chance for survival was to fight. In a surge of adrenaline, they fought valiantly, managing to escape the clutches of the maniacal killer. They sprinted towards the exit, gasping for breath, their hearts pounding. They burst into the night air, their breath visible in the cold. The asylum loomed behind them, an embodiment of horror. But the battle was not over. The killer was still at large. Emily, Sarah, and Daniel knew they had to warn others and put an end to this reign of terror. They sprinted through the woods, desperate to reach help. The town seemed impossibly distant, but they pressed on. The killer was not far behind, his footsteps closing in. They reached the outskirts of town, their screams for help echoing through the night. As they burst into the open, they were met with the sight of flashing police lights. The killer had been captured, and the nightmare was finally over. The town of Blackwood could begin to heal. But Emily knew the scars of that night would forever remain. The horrors they had faced would haunt their dreams, a reminder that evil could lurk in the most unexpected places. And in the darkest corners of the mind, the memories of Ravenhurst Mental Institute would continue to torment them. A chilling tale of survival amidst unimaginable terror.